Hi, Tallgrass family. I am so excited to be here today with Brian Burton. I'm Erin. I'm a member of the Filmmaker Advisory Board. I was at Tallgrass last year. You can check me out. I've been around. But today, we're more excited to talk about Brian. Brian is a very exciting guest because he has a lot of big name credits. He's been on Succession and The Night of and The Good Cop. He's a director, he's a writer, he's an actor, he's doing all of the things,
Wow.
which is which is why they sent me to talk to him. Because
Like they'll get each other.
I
They'll
do all of the
understand.
things.
They'll get it. They're cool.
So hi Brian,
So
it's so great to
hello.
talk to you.
Great to talk to you.
And today we're talking specifically about
Mhm.
Push the Point, which is his
Right.
short film in the music block. If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're here. There's going to be spoilers. Go watch it and then come back.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
probably
way.
a good sequence to do
Yeah,
things. And yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly. But you know what? If you want to hang out and you don't mind spoilers, you'll learn a lot. Then you'll go watch the film. It'll be great. So, Brian, what inspired you to take on this massive endeavor of creating a full, basically a mini musical and then filming
Uh-huh.
it?
Yeah. In case you haven't seen it, which again, you should go see it first. But if you haven't, Push the Point is this basically 7-minute musical comedy. One song. It's really fast paced, and it's about these four online video gamers that are working through this kind of team based mission. But really, it's more of their journey, how they try to work through it while navigating toxicity, super fandom, and also just the sheer futility of trying to have an argument on the internet. Very, very nihilistic in a way. What's the point, man? So it's very fun. It's very quick. It's very fast. I mean, the reason we did it was multifold. It was so the creators and I, the writers and I, we all lived together in the same apartment at that time. All still very good friends, and we maybe played some video games more than we should have been. And anyway, so we had experience in that world, and that world can be really fun. It can be really cool. It can be very cooperative, and you can have a lot of fun. But there are always going to be some people that are just gonna ruin it for everybody. And just there's always someone. There's always that has everyone. I mean, everyone always brings their own baggage to the table in any situation. But like,
Mhm.
we wanted to cover something that we thought would be fun and would be funny, and it feels a lot more like an SNL digital short than it does like then it's like it's not a big message movie piece, but there is definitely messaging within it in the sense that um, we kind of wanted to cover these kind of internet current toxicity culture kind of vibes, I guess. More the words themes we use, but I'm gonna change this in cinema. We're gonna now start calling these vibes.
They're
um,
all vibes now, no
right.
more themes.
And yeah, exactly. And in English class they're gonna be like, so what was the overarching vibe of this piece? That's the legacy I want to leave behind. um
Well, Brian,
but
don't
yeah,
sell yourself short because I found a message in it. Maybe that's just me
good.
being such a great storyteller that I create stories in my mind. But
Right.
um,
Well, I'm glad you saw it. You're right, because I want to like we wanted it to resonate,
yeah,
hopefully it resonated. And if it didn't, if it just like over someone, at least hopefully they had a really good time.
yeah,
And maybe you'll
exactly,
come,
exactly.
maybe subconsciously, just to kind of think about, you know, because the atmosphere is what we all bring to it. We can all bring the best, or we could all bring the worst. So it's kind of like how, think about um, um, trying to do the former of those,
Yeah.
but yeah, but in a way that wasn't hitting you over the head with some message that was actually, it was mostly meant to be just a really fun ride. And but also while you're here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that because I think that comedy is a great way to deliver a message. As anyone who saw my film at Tallgrass last year can attest to.
Right.
Yeah.
I was looking at your website and that
Oh,
at the film, yeah, like, right. 'Cause that was a lady parts, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that looks so super good. I also
Thanks.
feel like I'd seen it. I feel like when were you at? You were also like Holly Shorts too.
Yeah. I
Was
was at
that
Holly Shorts last year.
2019?
Yeah, 2019.
That's when I saw it. Yeah,
Oh,
because I was there for
okay.
another. I was there for another film of mine that I was just an actor in. It was like it's called Vision, and it was like a
That's
period
why
piece.
you're so familiar to me. Oh my God. I've
Yeah,
seen Men of Vision like 20 times, I feel like.
yeah,
Oh
that's
my God.
fantastic.
Everyone, Tallgrass, this is what the film festival world is like.
It's
It's
true.
small, and anybody that you're on like the circuit with that year,
Hmm.
you see them over
You
and
see them
over
all the
again.
time, and it's super
Yeah.
cool.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
I was trying to figure, I was looking at your website and trying to figure out why you were so familiar to me, but that is probably
Here it
why.
is. That's certainly why. Yeah,
Oh
because
my
you see it.
gosh.
That's so
How
funny.
fun. So anyway, I love, but the point is, this is a digression. The point is, I love comedy as a vehicle for message because it's kind of like spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. And
Absolutely.
I felt so much for poor Jason, who just wanted to de-stress and just wanted a moment of
He
escape.
at the end of his long day, just a little respite.
That's all he
Uh,
wanted.
yeah, and then it just couldn't,
Just couldn't have it.
and for all the effort he tried, you know what I mean? Yeah, I also liked how the way, okay, yeah, of course, spoilers, everything. Spoiler alert. So yeah, like the way we enjoyed the kind of, I guess it is kind of nihilistic in the way that like he tries to, when he just reaches his breaking point and he tries to just bring it together, but then in the end it's still like the destination that was headed, the whole game is still the
Yep.
same, like it was
Yep.
still like, and it's done,
Yep.
the game is done, but maybe next time we'll all think about it better, that's kind of the
Yeah.
that was kind of the I guess that plays to the funniness, or I guess that's more of a comedic choice than
Oh,
it
totally.
was story choice too, but
Yeah. Yeah, but
now
I
I'm
mean,
digressing.
you're well, again, I think we have a similar taste in that
Yeah.
a schmarmy ending where everything goes well is not satisfying to us.
Right, it's also, yeah, it's like,
Sorry, audience, you might like it, but we don't.
there's like, and there's some movies where I enjoy that, where you're like,
Yeah.
I've been on this journey with these people, all the way to Mordor, and I just want to,
Uh-huh.
can you just give me something? But it's a 7-minute film, so I feel like I can leave them with a little like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not that like, I feel like it's not that we didn't leave them with an ending that was not satisfying. It's just that
Right.
like the character still didn't get what he wanted, but it's just kind of
Right.
like,
Jason's not satisfied.
right, he's not satisfied, but but it's kind of funny in the way, because it's just like, and back to the life, like
Yeah.
he's just kind of back to it, which we loved having, like structurally, with planting that moment in the middle with a girlfriend that we can, one, have a break
Loved it.
from the
Loved it.
musical,
Yeah.
have a moment where we're actually finally like in the room with someone, versus only in these rooms via the internet, in a way, because we never break that plane
Mm-hmm.
until the one time when he takes his headset off, and then we're finally actually in the room with two people. Anyway, but yeah, having that moment to kind of break up the music, give a little bit of a moment to breathe, also allows us to further the conversation in the musical, like without having to actually detail during, so he can come back into it and not really be sure what's going on, but
Yeah.
allow that moment to have a joke that we can then do a recall at the end for a button, like that kind of was. And also, yeah, that, and then turns out that scene, I really love that scene. It was so fun. That's that actress, Brittany Ray, is also like one of my best friends, and she also was the production designer on the thing with me. So,
Oh, amazing.
yeah, brought her on. She has a great vision, and we both like. Well, I really love color, and she also is great with color. So we were like, let's make something colorful.
Ooh.
Clearly, here I am in my room, and I'm like, I got all these like Philip Hue lights behind me. I'm just like, what colors do I want to do now? I'm like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. I could do that. I could do this. It's absurd.
Okay. So
It's
this is really a part of your, personal aesthetic too.
yeah, it's just for a character. It's just, yeah, I like it a lot. It's really, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting to something else I wrote in my notes, which was how much I loved the colors and the different sets. So how did you build those sets? Like, where did you shoot those, and how did you, like actually logistically
Right.
make those also colorful and different?
Right. So 4 gamers, 4 rooms, as well as this one kind of like dark, empty space for the bridge.
Right. Yeah.
All of it shot in this apartment.
Oh my gosh.
This apartment,
Wow.
so I live here in Manhattan. We live uptown, Washington Heights, and you get a little more bang for your buck in terms of space. And there's 3 bedrooms and a living room here, and a really long hallway. So we used all of that, and we changed each of the rooms to look, to have something that felt distinctly that character,
Right.
but also color wise would all fit together in the few instances when they are a 4-way split screen. Yeah. So the picture would still feel a part of the same color palette. But that was that took a lot of work in pre-production to figure out what are the colors. And once we locked it in, we were good to go. But, I had to figure out like each room had kind of like a major color, something in the room, whether it's a wall or a big blue couch or whatever it's something that is very prominent in that character's frame is going to maintain like their main color. And then they'd have other minor colors in their stuff, either props or pillows or this and that or whatever, that are the main color of some other character in their room. So like, and I was like trying to put this together, Brittany and I remember I went over to her, she was at work, and I just went and I like took paint chips. I went to Lowe's and I got literally paint chips because the only way I could like piece this together in my brain, I was like, I got all the colors, and I would just lay the paint like those, those whatever those things are. I guess paint chips make it sound like I like chipped paint off the wall.
Right. No,
they're like paint,
the little sample cards.
Yeah, the sample things, whatever. Yeah. And I lay them out, and then like I'd cut like for the small color, I was like, I know this is basically like taking all the math out of the brain, but I just need to see this. And once I can see this, now we can start buying stuff. Like now we can actually get the colors, but I had to put that together first before we could, really start to design and buy and make sure everything was ready. And we shot this thing. We came up with the concept beginning of September of the year we shot it, and then we shot this thing by the end of October, beginning of November. Wow. So we were like, let's do this thing. So we wrote it, we had the song written, and then we recorded the song like early October, like early October. So we'd have about 3 weeks to get the thing mixed, because then the song is really what we're playing on set. Like the sound that was recorded on set was really only for the opening dialogue sequence, and then the middle sequence, and then the end. Because 80% of it is this one song. So, we wanted to. That's another thing, is that the way this is shot, like we kind of together, and I had to basically craft the performance of the film 3 weeks before we shot it.
Yeah.
In the studio as we record the song, because I'm thinking of, after we rehearsed with the actors and everything, knowing what funny choices they were making, what I really liked here or there from this line, making sure I brought out that performance in the studio, so that when we shot it, and I want to get that kind of thing on camera, the vocal performance would match what I'm hoping to get in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I
visually.
was very impressed with that. And you did a great job, I think, of explaining how that process goes.
Mhm.
This is where I would have been a bad Q&A moderator because I know all that. So I would have just been like, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But so I'm really glad you explained that because yeah, every time you're, filming a song, unless you're Tom Hooper doing Les Mis, you're
Right.
almost never singing live. You're always, basically lip syncing to your own track.
Right.
And that I thought everyone did a really, really great job with that because it's actually harder than it seems like it would be. I can
Absolutely.
say this from having done it.
Yeah.
But because every time you do a performance, there are little minute changes in the way you might do a phrase or like your
Right.
acting choice changes, like you're saying, the way your voice sounds or the vocal choice you might make. So I thought it was really brilliant how everyone really looked like they were singing that
Thank you.
song.
That was important to me to make it feel like that, so that was why it was important to make sure I got the performance choice I wanted locked down in the track. So that, because once I did that, when we were shooting, it was just kind of making sure that we were matching that. Cause now the arc of the performance, everything was kind of locked in even before we were shooting.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get the nearly fully mastered, at least in terms of all of the vocal line
Vocals.
placement. We
Yeah.
still messed with them instrumental later because that didn't
Yeah.
matter. But get that to the actors, I would have loved to got it to them a week before, but they got it to them like 3 days before they shot. Just so they can just listen to it over and over and over and over and really work on kind of syncing it themselves,
Yeah.
because then when we did shoot it, we weren't recording sound. I just played on on a big giant speaker that goes by the name of a lady. Alexa.
Oh.
I had to be
You
careful.
have to whisper because
I had to
otherwise
whisper,
someone
otherwise
comes back.
she'd be alert. Just so they would sing, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah,
they are literally singing on set, but of
yeah,
course we're not recording that.
exactly.
Um, because geez, you can tell there's
Oh,
no
you can
air
always
passing through
tell
that
if you're
mouth.
not really singing. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
It's just like,
And that's what's hard is you have to really sing, but you have to really sing exactly what you sang before with no
right,
differences.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Y'all did a
Um,
great job with that.
Thank you. It's kind of like a fun puzzle.
Yeah,
In terms of for the filmmaker, it's a fun puzzle, and if I put it together right, you don't think about it
exactly.
as an audience member. You think about it because you're also a filmmaker, but like, but like the audience member is just like, "Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's what I want."
it seems like magic, but it's really a lot of work that goes
Right,
into that magic.
right, exactly. Um,
Speaking of vibes, since we were talking about vibes earlier, these are two notes I wrote down: Rent vibes, Hamilton vibes. And I want to talk about the songwriting a little bit because I
mhm,
saw in the credits um, Tisch Graduate Musical Theater Writing Program, which
absolutely.
I went to Tisch undergrad and I worked with the musical theater
Oh,
writing program
oh
a
yeah,
lot when I was actually
oh
not
yeah.
while I was at Tisch, but afterward, which is a whole other story about Tisch, but we're going to get to that another day. But so I love that program. It's for those who don't know, it's for composers and lyricists
hmm
specifically who want to work in musical theater. And
Right. There's
there's
really no other
not,
program like it.
yeah, that's what I was
It's
going
the
to
only.
say. I
It's really the
think
only
it's
one,
the only
essentially.
one.
It is the only one tied to like a university for
Yeah.
sure.
And so they
Uh,
get to write these, and I participated in a lot of their like 15-minute musicals, and this is like a 7-minute musical,
hmm
which was so cool. So can you talk about what it was like? And I know they're your friends, but what was it like
hmm
working with them and what they brought
Right.
to the project?
Right. So our lyricist Alex Kosea and our composer Edison Hong both went there. Alex, I've known since we were like 14 in high school, and then we went to college together as well. And he met Edison, then I got to meet Edison, and we all just hit it off so well. And so I'd known when we started to work on this, I guess I'd known Edison for maybe like 4 years at that point, roughly, give or take. And so Edison was one class, but our year ahead of Alex. But Edison, of course, went to the composer track,
Right.
and Alex went through the lyricist track, the
Yeah.
book track. And I mean, it's easy. I mean, I've known Alex forever, so it's like we are, and we're both very. Our humor styles are very witty and brainy and smart. You know, if it's kind of clever, that's it. Stupid wordplay, love it. You know what I mean? Um,
Clever and
um,
stupid at the same time.
Clever, right? It's like so clever. It's like they're like, oh, that was stupid because you got me. You know, like yeah, we really had a good time doing this, and we also got to when we premiered it at the 50th annual Comic-Con,
Oh,
which was like
cool.
super cool and super appropriate for this thing,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that was kind of a really exciting thing to share that with the boys, which also they were promoting The Boys the year we were there. Anyway, now I'm really diverging. I apologize, viewers. Anyway, but yeah, working with them was great. I mean, it's super easy. Edison is also has a really great. He's such a great composer. But he also Alex was like, let's pull Edison onto this thing because also Edison's really great at working kind of at including more synthetic sounds as well and kind of electronic. Given that these we were exploring the story through video gamers. We wanted to kind of thematically keep something that was maybe a little bit more electronic based versus actually recording live instruments.
A piano and a guitar would not have been the right
or like
here.
brass, like having a big, like a big brass section would have been like,
like, what's happening? Yeah,
that's weird. Yeah, the coolest thing for me has been when I've been hearing, I've had a lot of people tell me, dude, I hate musicals, but I really enjoyed your film. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Like, I mean, I'm sorry you hate musicals, but the point is that I'm so happy that I made this. We made this thing so that even if you weren't like a big kind of golden age musical fan.
Yeah.
That hopefully you'd find really fun still.
Yeah.
And that was also kind of a part of making it feel a little more modern pop versus, yes, we're here, which that's fun too, but I wanted to be a little more accessible. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And we also we recorded it there too. We're filmmakers on a budget and they had access and we were like, well, yes, please. We'll do it.
For those who don't know, they have recording studios available to
right.
Tisch
right.
musical theater writing people. Like you can go in the studio and just lay down whatever you want, kind of.
Absolutely. Like I got a booth here, but that's all you see is darkness. There's foam. There's foam here. You can't see it because I have all these stupid colors in my lights right now. But it's just for like a single person voiceover, not like a entire group of people and a piano and let's rehearse and let's record. And that was what was so great about that spot. Having all that in the equipment and the right setup to do so.
Again, it's so weird because I've been in those studios before. I did not know this when I chose to do his Q&A. I swear.
Kismet.
And speaking of, the music and I think like Dilly's lines were what gave me really like the Rent vibes. I was like, this is like Benny from Rent, like, or a little Tom Collins maybe.
Nick is great.
We're musical theater geeking
skilled.
out for a second.
Absolutely.
But he was incredible and he has such a great voice. And that
kind
of leads me to like, where did you find your cast? Were these all friends or did you do some casting?
So it was first I found myself and I find myself. I try hard every day.
How did you find yourself, Brian?
It's a lifelong journey. I eat and I pray and I love and so the others in the cast. The sick girl gamer. She is her name is Morgan Keene, and she she at the time, actually, we were dating at the time. And so
And this
more
film came between you, and now you're not. No, I'm just
now we're like, we're never working together or speaking or anything. No, it's like, um, uh, that's hilarious. No, but Morgan and I, we were dating, and I met Nick. I wanted to. Morgan also has an incredible voice. I mean, she's like, I love musical theater, but I mostly work in film and TV and voiceover and commercial stuff, and occasionally theater when I get to, and I love it. But she's like incredible musical theater artist and did like the national tour of Newsies and all as like that, the main one girl, what's it, Catherine or something,
yeah.
and has done a lot of stuff. And she would do a lot of these. A lot of the people that go through Newsies, like that 54 Below, loves bringing these, like, let's have a Newsies ring because everyone's going to go. They're going to sell out tickets, right?
Yeah.
So I went to a couple of these with her, and in doing so, met a lot of really cool people that are also our age, and Nick was one of them, because one of them was doing like 54 Below sings One Direction, and I went, and Nick did this version of like Pillow Talk, and I was just like writing the movie at that same time, knowing we needed a camera. I was just like,
that's him.
That voice needs to be in the mix 100%. And we started talking, and we both afterwards and realized we're both like Southern boys, and just like had it really hit it off. And it worked out scheduling wise. Like right when we shot this, everyone's schedule kind of just worked. So I met Nick through that, brought him on board that way. Right before he then went to do like King Kong, the musical on Broadway. And then shortly after that, then went to do Tina on Broadway. And of course, right now there's no one on Broadway, but like at the moment, and then also Steven, I also met through Morgan, who played, just the troll.
Erin, yeah.
Exactly. And she knew Steven because he was one of the other leads in Newsies on tour with her. And I knew that Steven would I had a really good idea that he would. I was like, this guy, he could play this role really well. And then he even blew it out of what I thought he was going to bring to it. I was like, dude, amazing. You're such an asshole in this right now. And like, so but, great. And then he'd be like, oh, thank you so much. Like, just a sweetie, like, he was so great.
Not a troll in real life. That's good.
No, such a cool dude. Everyone was so great. That's also the thing, is we did this because we wanted to all have fun together. And, so bringing people into the mix that are going to really play, and have fun with it, but also are wicked talented. So that it was just a really great experience making it, and also in post-production. Post-production real quick. This thing was going to live or die in the edit entirely. I had an idea of certain moments I kind of wanted how I wanted it to look, certain things here, or this is where we're going to have one of the four-way split screens and this other stuff. I was like, I don't know, let's see. But I need an editor that has like music video pacing and also has extensive compositing skill. Because we are not it's a musical and we're not like up dancing anything, but I wanted there to be dancing through imagery. I wanted the stuff to move, and also like we're only shooting it these dead on things. Everyone had a wide, everyone had a close up. How do you keep that visually engaging? And my editor, Nadine Mueller, like was also so talented and made the whole thing the most fun experience to shoot. I was like, what do you think should happen here? You know what I mean? Like I have an idea, but I want you to play as well. I wanted everyone to actively bring their own creativity to it, because one, everyone's gonna have more fun that way, and two, we're probably gonna get a better product out of it. So absolutely. It was a great, cool experience. And then the last phase has been this, where we get to share it and find people, and hopefully people enjoy it, and that is the cycle of filmmaking.
Exactly. We're going long, but I don't care. Sorry, Tallgrass. First of all, for Tallgrass family, 54 Below is a cabaret space in New York. So that's when he said, "Oh, I would go to these shows." He was
Right.
going to cabaret shows.
Mm-hmm.
Just explaining. Now that I don't live in New York anymore, I realize how much you have to explain to people that don't live in New York. You don't realize it when
You
you
don't
live
think
there.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 54 Below. Of
Yeah.
course,
54 low. Right.
you know
Absolutely.
that, right?
People are like, well, you mean like the old Studio 54? You're like, yes,
Yes,
below it,
but below the
but
basement.
below. Exactly.
Awesome. So I have a question, which
Mm-hmm.
is, and then I have, I'm just going to ask you like three more questions, and
Mm-hmm.
then I will release you back into the world. Um, First of all, I wanted to know about the choice to bleep out the curse words.
Yeah. So we weren't going to bleep anything out at first. When we wrote it, not going to be bleeped. It had like some profanity was was not suitable for children, but it wasn't like
Crazy,
so
yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like a Tarantino
Not
or it's not,
graphic.
like it, but at the same time, so when we were submitting, one of our first deadlines was actually we wanted to submit uh, um, to Comic-Con and a few others, and Comic-Cons in particular uh, had this in the rules that said like no violence, no swearing, period. And I was like, and I was, it
I'm like,
was
have you seen the
the
comic book
deadline was
movie?
like
But
3 weeks away, and I was like, how did uh-oh. I was like, what, can we submit here? I really think it'd be cool. You know what? Let me just make a version
Mm-hmm.
where I bleep everything out, but I'm not going to bleep it with bleeps because that's going to get really old, really stale, really quick, and also take people out. And again, everything I've been doing is to keep people sucked into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, let me find all these other sounds. I'm like, there's so many video game sounds or this and that or something that or musical sounds that I can totally choose that are maybe the sound of it also has the same phonetic bite as the
The word,
word
yeah.
that they're saying, or it's just some kind of video game, sonic ring ding, or like, and then like there's other things here and there, or like just just like this. I've always laughed myself personally at like the rap sounds of like
Oh yeah. Oh
like
yeah. I
just
loved those.
any of those like blah blah blah, so I was like, what of those can I also rope into it? There was one I had tried once. There was like the DMX, like I can't even like that. Ow, ow, that he does. And I was like, no, that one's too much. I'm not going to put that one in there. And so I spent hours looking to kind of curating these sounds to find something that could help keep you in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I was shopping around that version and the original version with a lot of friends and a lot of directors that I had been just working with as an actor, the director of Minivision and lots of commercial directors I've worked with in the past, and lots of other people I just really, whose opinions I like really admire, and their taste, I knew that they'd understand that what I was going for, and asked like, what do you think if I had to pick one version of this film? Because I started to get some people saying, maybe it might be funnier with all the bleeps, and you know how like you see something one way for so long, and then you're kind of like, really? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I just thought about it more, and I'm like, yeah, I think they're right, because now these curse words can also be anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They could be like real nasty, dirty, you know what I mean? Which is what they should be, because the online gaming community 100% is that. And also it just made it more fun. And I haven't watched the original version in a very long time. Not that I sit around watching my own films all the
You see
time,
it at
but you
film
see it. I see. Yeah, you see it all there. You see it at the
Yeah.
festivals. But yeah, that was like the best happy accident thing that wasn't planned from the get go. That turned out to be such a fun narrative device. And yeah, so those are the kind of also the fun things that can come out of an experience like that,
I
I had
loved
no
it
clue.
because, that moment, like you said, it could be any word. And so the moment when Dilly kind of interrupts, you're like, wait, what did he say? And then, you're like,
Yeah.
I thought I knew what he was saying, but now I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
And
What
so,
made him explode so much? Right.
yeah.
Like
And
what
so then it was
triggered?
really interesting. Like it kind of keeps your brain engaged too and trying to like figure it out. So I really love that choice. And
Cool.
I
Thank
love
you.
these
Yeah.
happy accidents. They're always really fun.
Oh, it made it so, it made it, I feel like we had a cool film before, but that just really kind of, it was like the little cherry on this
Yeah.
beautiful little sundae. They were like,
Yeah.
oh man, it made it even more tasty. That's cool. Um,
Awesome.
yeah,
So I have another question for you
please.
because when I look at your, IMDb page, your website, your resume,
Oh, thank
um,
you.
it's mostly acting and voiceover, and you're living over here in Actorland. So what prompted you to want to make a film instead of just showing up and doing a film? And then also, is this something that you plan to continue down this path?
Yes, I definitely plan to continue down this path. I love directing. I had done prior to this, um, like directed more sketch video stuff
Yeah.
and had directed like actual musical theater in a theater, and stage things. And when I was in a high school, I actually had this senior project where I was like, I want to make a movie. And like that was my first directing experience, where I also had my buddy Greg forget to turn on the microphone after our break halfway through. And
Oh no.
so I had a really crash course experience at the age of 17 in what ADR is.
Oh no.
And I had an ADR like half of that film. So I had all my friends come back over and like watch the film as I like have the little boom mic in front. I'm like, okay, and we're gonna
Mhm.
lip sync this. And maybe that also started my obsession with sound and great
Yeah.
sound and sound technician uh technicianism. That's not a word, but I'm gonna make it a word.
Audio engineering.
That's right. That's the thing.
You're
That's
you're an audio engineer.
exactly. I love all that stuff. I love performing, but also love the, yeah, just the engineering aspect of it. I think it's sound mixing is incredible and so important and so undervalued. And side note, if you're a young filmmaker and you want to make a film and you're watching this and you're like, oh man, I want to do this, and you have $100 to make your film, for the love of God, hire a sound guy and give him that
Or
$100
her.
or her. You're dang right.
Sound
I got
person.
what? Well, this has been a great interview. I just blew it.
It's okay. We all say sound guy.
It's because there usually always been a dude who's just like, hey,
Yep. I know some great sound
it's all the,
women though. Sound gals.
that's true. That's true. Uh,
But yeah, that's the place to
you
spend the
probably,
money.
I'd feel a lot more comfortable if it was like a sound guy, sound girl, mostly just like, cause you're just, sometimes you get a sound guy's like, hey, I'm just gonna live you up real quick. Is that okay? I'm like, as long as it is real quick, I guess. I don't know. Um, no, most all sound people I've met are great, but yeah, but that is, sound is such an important, crucial part, especially for a musical, but for any film, really, it can look whatever it can. You can have it visually be really like a grainy VHS kind of tape, and it's a choice. But if it sounds bad, it sounds bad. If I can't hear the actors, like you're taken out of it. It's so important, such a crucial element. I digress like for the fifth time maybe during this,
Well, I was
but
thinking you should talk to Christopher Nolan, but that's another story for another
oh,
day.
I would please. Can you give me his number? Let's
Yeah, I'll
have
hook
this.
you up. I'll connect you.
Oh
Back
man,
to
please.
let's get back on track with continuing with directing and what made you, so you talked about that you already were directing. I'm going to segue that into the next question. What's next for you?
I mean, I'm working on a couple different things, like just been writing like everyone in quarantine, but like, um, I sometimes I'll self-edit a lot, ideas before they even come out. Now that's something I'm definitely working on. It's just like, okay, if you have an idea and you think you're like, I don't know, have I seen, just write it. And afterwards you don't like it. Cool. You also got better at writing from doing it.
Yeah.
That's something I'm working on personally. But which I have been in this quarantine, just like some of the stuff I've written, I'm like, I didn't like it, but you did it, bro, before just self-editing, before you even let it exist.
Yeah.
But with Push the Point, it was one thing that I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I've never seen a musical film about gamers talking about online toxicity. I was like, if this thing is good, if this thing is bad, it is gonna be original.
Yeah.
So I was like, it had to be something that I was excited about and invested in enough, because as you know, as a filmmaker, you spend so much time with it.
Yep.
It had to be something that I was so interested in seeing that I was going to be so excited to get up and go to the editing room with Nadine, get up and, and pre-plan and go to Lowe's and buy a whole lot of, paint sample chips, whatever they're called, and put that together. Yeah. So this was something that I was like, everything about it seemed very fun to me, and it got even more fun as you're doing it. You get to really, so that's the thing, is like finding and writing projects that or finding the ideas that I'm like, I don't think I've seen that before. I think that there's a place for this in the world. And two, something that you're like, I also am enjoying living in this space, whether I'm, living in it here. And then, but like, that's always kind of the challenge. I don't know, but a few little ideas, but they're just still in little baby mode, just
Their
whatever. I don't know.
infancy.
Their infancy. I mean, yeah. And then right then, I did just finish shooting like this week. I've been working on this episodic project that was super cool. We were shooting remotely the whole time, all week. That's why I like my setup. I'm still here from when we were doing this. And that was very, very cool. Like like a proper big union project that we were just doing remotely, because the concept of it was kind of like web therapy via like Zoom sessions. So we were on Zoom, but we were recording everything with like iPhone 11s that we had. And so they're going to composite that all later, because when you can control it a whole lot more, the qualities, a lot, like having a Zoom where everyone just does it. It's kind of like, in the sense we've been absent theater a lot during this quarantine, and we've had some cool stuff where casts of this and that come and do like the Zoom play, and it's like, it's cool. It's great, and it's for what, we don't in the absence, right? Yeah. But in some ways, like having the Zoom play that then gets recorded, it's like, you don't get the in-person beautiful part of theater, but you also don't get the like, I can piece this thing beautifully together aspect of film. You kind of get these weird worst parts of both. Like put in, again, it's better than nothing. But it's better than nothing. But in shooting this episodic, where we were on Zoom practically as we're doing it, but we're recording everything on better devices with lavs and everything, and then uploading it so that then the editors can then, and also it's that whole, it's the kind of, anyone who has any like COVID safety precautions, that they didn't have to, pay for all the testing and all that stuff for us. It's a wild world out there now.
So can you tell us what that is, or shall you?
It's called Get Well. It's like this. It's this great. They just wrote 2 episodes as like a proof of concept. These girls they wrote something really cool. It's really cool. And our our therapist, our like guru, our self-help guru, her name is Connie Schulman, and she's someone who you would recognize immediately when you saw her and also heard her. Most people know her from Orange is the New Black, where she like played like the yoga teacher, and like yes. And I loved her because she was voiced Doug. She was I think she was Patty. For me, that was the one. I was like, now that hits home for me. Yeah. And we had a great cast. 6 of us in it, and it was super cool. And yeah, so right now, I mean, they just got the footage uploaded overnight, finished, and they'll be putting that together and trying to shop that around.
So
But
we'll
yeah,
keep an eye out for that.
there's stuff coming down the tube, the chute. I don't
Things
know.
are happening. Where can people
Things are
follow
happening.
you so that they can keep up with what's happening?
Sure. I mean, the easiest place would probably be Instagram is where I am the most when I am. I like to live in the moment a lot, so I post occasionally. But it's at Brian Burton. That's it. I got in real early.
Ooh, yeah,
Real early. Just Brian with the Y, Burton as in Tim or Richard or the snowboard empire, none of which I'm related to.
Okay, let me ask you one more question because we're really running out of time.
Yes.
But this is my question I like to ask in alongside what are you doing next? What is your dream project? If you could do anything you wanted to do in your career, what's your dream project?
Oh, yeah, I would love to be a part of like a massive like World War II, World War One. Like, oh my God, Saving Private Ryan is one of my like all-time favorites. I saw 1917 in theaters last year like 4 times because I'm also a massive history nerd and
Wow,
I
this is
love
not
that
what I was
stuff.
expecting. I was really
I
expecting like a musical superhero film, but
I
you
mean that
really
too.
threw me for
I'm
a
not gonna
loop.
say no. But
I
that would
love that
be some
though.
kind of historical thing like that. That would be to because a film is where is the closest I would be able to get to jumping into that history and actually like living it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
being on the set of one of those, Band of Brothers or Saving, like all like that had to be, that's kind of the thing where it's like I could be like, all right, I'm good now.
Band of Brothers
Like
is
that.
coming back. Call your agent.
Oh
Um,
my God. That would be so just wicked cool, man. That'd be so good.
Awesome. Well, it's been so nice talking to you, Brian.
Same
And
with you.
thank you to all of our Tallgrass family for tuning in. If any of you are still with us, we went very long, but you know what?
We did.
That's what we do, and we live with it. Um, so thank you again. Thank you, Brian, for being here. And
Thank
thank
you.
all of you for tuning into this virtual festival where you get to know the filmmakers a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And we'll all see you next year in Wichita, for
Woo!
sure.
Yes. Yes.
Awkward wave.